What's up, guys? Today I wanted to show you some D.va or D.va gameplay. I wanted to discuss the recent July 19th 1.102 patch that made some significant changes to this character. The pros and cons, well, the pros to it, there aren't any cons, full disclosure. And lastly, I wanted to talk about the two different styles I like to play as, the aggressive and the defensive, or the passive. The first objective here, I play more passive, and I'll discuss this, and we lose the first objective, and that's when I'd get much more aggressive. But I'll talk about that in a second. The first I wanted to talk about is basically her style and how the patch completely changed her. As you could see, in the middle of my HUD, you could see that meter that's sort of rising up and down on the right side next to the crosshair. That is actually something that was put in as part of the 1.102 patch. It's the defense matrix meter. With regard to the patch, the first thing it did is it reduced the cooldown from 10 seconds to 1 second, so you can almost always have at least some form of your defense matrix up, and that is by far the most significant and by far the most optimistic change for this character. It made her one that people probably wouldn't choose unless you really liked that character, to someone that I see quite a bit chosen as I play. So you can definitely tell it was a change for the plus. The resource meter, as I was talking about, that goes up and down, it shows you just how much of the defense meter you have to go, and it shows you its recharge rate as it goes, so you never have to be clueless as to when and when not you're going to have the shield, and it's going to show you just how long it will last. It takes 10 seconds to recharge when it's from fully empty. At full charge, the defense shield lasts 4 seconds. So no longer is it really a guessing game. You know the exact timing, and based on knowing that exact timing, you can optimize your skill set and your style of play based on those key points. The defense matrix will now remain active as long as the assigned hotkey is held. So in this case, it's the right mouse button. I just hold it down. Easy. And what was the next point? Oh, the self-destruct. The delay was reduced from 4 to 3 seconds, and most importantly, it no longer damages you as you deploy it, which is nice. And as you see in the gameplay, a lot of the time it's force of habit for me to run away because I don't want to die right before it explodes, and it's just force of habit of playing as that before. So those are the biggest changes. Those are very positive, influential changes to the character, and based exactly on what you've heard, I'm going to go into the stats, or go into the style of play. I like to play in open areas, as you see here. This first objective is very open. You've got Farah's attacking from above, you've got Lucio attacking from below, and it's very open. So unless I'm sitting in the room here, the whole area is you have 360 degrees, possibly more of possible, because you have the sky as well, of areas of attack. And for that reason, I like to play passive, because I don't like putting myself in an area where you can have 180 to 360 degrees of people potentially shooting and damage me. It's not optimum. It doesn't put you in a situation for success. You want to limit your encounters and limit your angles. One-on-one, ideally, is best. The other thing, too, is her weaknesses. Once she actually happens to lose her shield, because you're not using your defense matrix, so you don't have a healer beside you, as you saw, she becomes, well, basically just a human being outside of her robot. And she's defenseless, she's very slow, you just sort of hop around and hope to God that people miss. The pluses to them, though, are that your ultimate charge is faster, and as long as you're outputting damage on a character, you see what that weapon she has, and it fires pretty quick, so you want to target larger characters. Her ultimate recharges quite quickly. And the second you get it, of course, you want to pop right back into a robot to minimize the damage output sent your way. That's the best way to go about it, of course. I'm sure most of you already knew that. But spam the weapon when you have the chance. Just in this case here, like I see, I'm without the robot. I'm targeting the larger characters, and I'm just spamming it. Every shot counts downfield, and it might even give you a 2 to 5% buff for every damage piece you put out there. See there, 6 there, and just a hit. Spam it. You want to get your robot as back as possible, or get it back as quick as possible. So that first part I played more passive. I was waiting for the enemies to come to me. I'd play behind a building and control the angles. So if the building's to my left and they're coming from the right, that's only one angle they have to attack. And I want to maybe close ground, attack, retreat, pop the matrix, continue, and wait for everything to recycle. When you're playing indoors, however, see how this is sort of a very close quarters indoor environment. I like to change up my routine and I like to play a lot more aggressive. The one thing that D.va has going for her besides her defense matrix is the fact that she has a lot of hit points. Yes, she isn't the maximum in terms of offensive output, but that's fine. You can absorb more damage to put out that offensive output. The other thing of note, when you're shooting with her guns a lot of the time, her mobility is highly sacrificed. So you have to make sure that you have the ability to get away, that little jetpack there, ready to go at all times. So you can flank. And the other thing too is, of course, as you saw, I attacked from above. Some characters don't have an ability to get to higher ground, so take full advantage of it. Attack from the higher ground. Reinhardt has absolutely no way of really attacking you from above, so you can make his life a living hell, because when he puts his shield up to try and block you from attacking from above, it suddenly opens up from different angles for your teammates to attack him from there. You knock out that front line of Reinhardt, or I like to call him the Amtrak, then all of a sudden it's a different ball game. So take advantage of like verticality in terms of maps in the indoors. Get in close, attack, output maximum damage with these weak weapons, as you're going to see in a second. Get in close. When you start to take a lot of damage, pop your matrix, put out damage, and then retreat, and keep it going. You're going to see multiple different examples of it in this particular gameplay, and you're going to see it in multiple videos I'm going to post in the future as well. That's the best way I like to do it. And of course, when you don't have a shield, spam it. I like to use the ultimate when people are bunched up on objectives. That's, I find, the optimum way to use. Or when they're clustered up, of course, in a particular area. Try and take out as many or damage as many as possible, and hope to God your teammates clean up the mess if you didn't actually finish the job itself. But with the reduced delay count and the bigger, they called it oomph in the patch notes, of being able to output a big damage of explosion, that's the best way to do it. So here's an example of what I was talking about earlier. Getting close, pop the matrix, and then shoot in between the opponent shooting. So you know Farah has a delay between shooting rockets. She hits a rocket, block it. Shoot her a little bit, she shoots another rocket, block it. Shoot her again, repeat this process. And of course you want to mix and match based on the offensive outputs of the characters you're facing. But that's basically the strategy. So that's one thing that's important with the Overwatch as well when you're playing as D.va. You want to know, or D.va, you want to know exactly who you're facing, and you want to know like their tips and strategies and like max optimum output offensively. Like when you're facing say McCree, I was going to call him Clint Eastwood. When you're facing McCree, you know that he can shoot quick and close range. You know at further range he's going to have the big advantage over you for that max damage. So what you want to do is you want to close ground and get in his face if you can, because especially after he's fired a few shots, because you can pop the defense matrix, block a few of those shots, close ground on him, and then he might only have the chance to right mouse button click to rapid fire in close range, but he might only have 2-3 rounds in the chamber. So then he has to, then he has to reload his weapon, and during that entire process, he's trying to get away from you, and you're just outputting a ton of damage on him. So of course, mix and match to the caliber of opponent you're facing. If you figure someone's very, very good, like in a Reaper, Reaper is a more dangerous guy to face. You don't want to close a lot of ground on him because he is superb in close range. But you'll want to time it in between his shotgun bursts for when you want to output the damage. But be aggressive. Run into people too. You pop your I just call it the rocket propulsion. I should probably learn the names. Pop that rocket propulsion. You can knock people off balance. It throws them for a loop. You can use it to run into Reinhardt. It sort of knocks the shield out for a second. Take advantage of that. Indoor close quarters, more aggressive. Outdoors, lots of different angles of attack potential on me. Play more passive. That's how I like to do it. See you later.